Hello, and welcome to the Empowerography Podcast. This is a platform created for women's voices to be heard and a place to share their stories, journeys, and successes with the world for the purpose of helping other women who might be on similar journeys. We are empowering women one episode at a time. I'm your host, Brad Walsh, so kick back, grab one of your favorite beverages, and enjoy the stories. You've got a story to share, a message to inspire, and a passion ready to ignite. But where do you start? The world is waiting for your voice. With From Idea to Implementation, Start Your Own Podcast, you'll get the roadmap to turn your vision into reality. This isn't just a course, it's your launching pad. Step by step, we'll break down the process from defining your purpose to recording your first episode so you can finally share your voice with confidence. Stop overthinking it and start doing it. Your voice has the power to connect and lead. Are you ready to use it? Join the waitlist today. Your podcast journey starts now. The world is waiting. You can find the link to sign up for the waitlist in the show notes. We'll see you soon. Hello there, Brad Walsh here, your host of the Empowerography Podcast, a platform that was created to help elevate and amplify the voices of women through sharing their stories. Today, my guest is Liz Blanding. Welcome, Liz. How are you?
Well, and thank you so much for opening your doors to me. I appreciate you.
It is my honor and my pleasure. Liz is a wellness coach, the CEO and founder of Wellness Centers, Oasis Wellness Centers, the founder of Soothing Salve. Am I saying Salve? Soothing Salve, and an author. I am so happy to have you here. We've had to put this off a couple of times because of cancellations on my side of it, so I am so excited and happy to finally have you here to jump in and share all the things, Liz. So let's do that. Could you please share with the audience, Liz, what inspired your journey to become a wellness coach? And was there a defining moment for you that pushed you onto this path? And if so, would you mind sharing that with us?
Absolutely. What inspired me on this path is I actually started out many years ago in real estate. I am an educator by heart. And so I found at that time a couple of organizations to help people to purchase real estate. I didn't know that I wasn't on my purpose path, if you will, because one morning, sometimes things will happen to you and you don't understand why it's happening at the time, and it'll be something that is totally devastating to you. I say now, a tree jumped in front of my vehicle and I caused a horrific accident where I ended up at the top of a hill with the tree holding my car. And when I came to, I shook myself, walked behind the vehicle, and then pulled my mother out. And when we dove to the ground, the car rolled back down and it totaled in traffic. So it was literally the tree holding us up.
Wow.
So what inspired the journey? That inspired my journey because as I went through my traditional doctors, and I say dating my doctors for over 2 years because I was there every day. And I want to add on that I was a single mom with 3 children, twin boy and girl at home that were in elementary school, and divorced with a daughter in college. Dating my doctors, it inspired me when they told me I plateaued. And this is it. Double knee replacement surgery and go home and do your home exercises because we can't do anything else for you. And so I just knew that there had to be more. I knew that was not my destiny. And I kept telling myself and doctors, this is not my destiny. There's more. And I refused the surgery because I didn't want the surgery.
Yeah.
That inspired me to go into naturopathic medicine. And I was my first client, my first student, my first everything. I had no idea this world exists where there were herbs that could help you to recover anything. And so that's what threw me into the journey of naturopathic medicine and understanding that in Genesis, in the Bible, it says that for every herb bearing seed is good for us. And I took that literal. I'm a very literal person. So I took that literally. And that's what inspired me down this path.
Wow. Okay. So a couple of things here. First, the fact that you went through and got into that accident, you and your mother. And as you mentioned, sometimes the things we feel like are the absolute worst things that could ever possibly happen to us end up being the biggest gifts in our life. And it's hard to see it at the moment, though. When you're in it, it's hard to see it that way. But to be able to take a step back after you've gone through the initial shock and dealing with it and processing what's happened, to be able to take a step back and look at it and say, okay, there's something positive here for me to take away from this. There's a silver lining. There's something there to be able to take forward with me in my journey to help me get to the next stage. So that's the first thing. And then the second thing, the doctor's not helping you. We put so much faith and trust in Western medicine. And because we're conditioned that doctors have all the answers. They know everything. And nothing could be further from the truth. Nothing could be further from the truth, because there are other forms of medicine. And that's why I love having people like you on the show, because so many people are unaware of their options. And so when I have people like you who are working in the wellness industry and who have other modalities of healing and whatnot, I want to shout it from the fucking rooftops, because people need to know this information. And then what they do with it is up to them. So thank you for being here again and for sharing that part of your journey. It's important that people realize that doctors don't have all the answers. They're humans just like us.
It just end on that point. It's called practicing medicine for a reason. I love working with, and I tell people this, it's chocolate or vanilla, you choose. But when you have options, your experience is just going to be different. I said that there's place for the traditional doctors, or there's a place for that, but to be empowered and know that you have options. In my case, the option that I was given was like a wheelchair or double knee replacement surgery. And my faith, and my total trust in God would not allow me to say, this is it. I'm still young and I have 3 children. I got to take care of these babies. So that was my inspiration and my motivation to go forward. And the answers start to unfold. I didn't know anything about naturopathic medicine.
Yeah, I love it. So how have these experiences helped shape the Liz you are today, both personally and professionally, would you say?
It made me take a look at my whole self. And the wonderful thing that came out of it, too, is we didn't mention the Get Trauma Informed podcast, which is my podcast. All of this was born out of me desperately needing to find out why so much pain in my life. And as I started unraveling it, I knew that there was something inside of me that said, there's something more, there's something greater. So I now understand that my purpose, the pain wasn't just for me. It was for developing all of these different tools. And as I started going deeper into how do I manage this? How do I make sense of it? And I understood then that there's 4 parts of us, right? Our mind, our body, our spirit, and our soul. And when you go through traumatic experiences, it splits. And we can talk a little bit more about that later, but that's how it developed me, because had I not hit that tree, I would have never knew that there were parts of me that were broken, that needed to be repaired.
Powerful. And so what would you say then has been or was the biggest or most valuable takeaway or lesson for you through your experiences?
Never give up. There's more. Yeah. There's a lot to be found in recovery and awareness.
Okay. And what drives, motivates, and inspires you to keep going and excelling at all that you do, Liz?
What inspires me? I have to say this. I'm a mom of 3 and a grandma of 10, 9, and 1 on the way. Yes.
You?
Yes. My greatest inspiration is knowing that I can make a difference. And when I look at my twin grandbabies, they're 2. When I look at them and they look up at me, and I know that I could pour so much into them, that I can teach them and I can change their world, that inspires me. And then I can share that with the world. That inspires me.
Yeah, beautiful. And so what does wellness truly mean to you beyond just diet and exercise?
Wellness means, again, that connection in mind, body, spirit, and soul. When you can collect your pieces, because CDC states that 70 to 80% of us have suffered trauma, and 20 to 30% are supporting those that have gone through trauma. That means it touches everybody. So wellness to me means pulling it all together and really meeting your true self, your authentic self, not the made up self, not the physically fit self, but the whole self, inside and out. That's what wellness means to me.
I love that. And how has your personal definition of wellness evolved over time, and what lessons have been the hardest for you to learn through that journey?
I know I didn't understand this whole trauma arena. I didn't understand it. And I think coming into that awareness that I'd been living life through, I say like a kaleidoscope, My kids already see all the
Mm-hmm.
broken. I didn't know
Yeah.
that I was making decisions based on a brokenness. And coming together, I think feeling like now, I don't mind. I'm 58 years old. I don't
Mm.
mind saying that now. I think like the greatest thing is I feel like I have to catch up, because once you recover, you're in a wholeness and you see life from a different perspective. But all of these decisions that you've made in that brokenness have consequences. And now it's the catching up.
And how is that going for you? How's the catching up
I'm
going?
telling you, I feel like I'm on a treadmill every day, but it does inspire me. I get up with hope, with a whole fresh perspective. I've been preserved from some things. The brokenness, I was
Yeah.
still preserved from some things. So now I don't feel 58. I feel still like I'm in my 20s, my 30s, maybe 40s, let's be honest, but nowhere near 50s. No, nowhere near 50s. Yes.
I can relate to that. I just turned 55 and I don't feel 55 at all. It's all up here. It's how you feel here, and believing in yourself and waking up, like you said, wake up every day, I think, and practicing gratitude, being grateful for the very little things in our lives. And then, of course, surrounding ourselves with people who are of like mind, support systems, because we can't do this thing called life alone. We need support around us. And you having your grandbabies around you and your children around you and your community, your support system, that is so key to life.
Absolutely. You said the key thing too. When you go through this trauma thing, you feel you isolate. And it's so important that you don't isolate and that you understand you have the power to build an amazing community around you. I say move away from toxic people, places, or things, and pull the people into you that breathe life into you and that you can breathe life into them. That's what helps in aids in your recovery.
For sure. 100% agree with you, Liz. And so how do you navigate moments of self-doubt or imposter syndrome in your work? And what keeps you grounded? Because, I mean, we all go through that. We all deal with that. I think that when we go through those things, as we go through each of those situations where we experience these things, competition minds, all of these things, we learn, I think, if we're self-aware, we learn to, again, step back and take the lessons out of it and figure out how we can do better. But I think we also learn as we go through them, and we gather the tools to help us to navigate those situations when they come up again, because I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt, it's going to come up again. Just because you've gotten through it once does not mean it's not going to come back up again. But I think that as each iteration of that happens, you learn to turn the volume down a lot quicker and deal with it because of the tools you amass along your journey. So how do you navigate those
moments? And I teach that as far as relapse prevention, because recovery is not a one and done. It's a lifestyle. It's a change. So I implement self-care practices. And have I gotten it down 1,000%? No, because none of us are perfect. So I fight with myself. But what I do, and this is a little bit different, but I have sticky tabs because of part of my injury was a closed head injury. So I have sticky tabs, and I have sticky tabs everywhere. And they remind me of who I am today. They remind me of, I talk to myself. I mean, constantly, right? People say, don't do that. Don't answer yourself. Well, sometimes you're your best frame of reference about yourself, right? So it's like what you're hearing, what you're saying to yourself. And I promise you, I put on music. As soon as I see myself trying to take that nose dive downward or feeling doubtful or like all of these things, I put on music and I started dancing. So Aretha Franklin, she stays on playlist for respect. And I lean into my gospel. I lean into my faith. Those are the things that keep me in my self-care and not relapsing, because you'll feel it coming. I don't care who you are. We talked about 100% of the people have been some form of fashion in this trauma arena. But we must do those things. And also understand that it's okay to nurture yourself. It's okay to love on yourself. Sometimes we feel guilty. I still do feel guilty, but we have to take that time out to do that. And that's what I did.
I think that is a very common trait among women in general, because women have been conditioned, in my opinion, this is just me speaking from the women I've been around and in my life, they've been conditioned to believe that you have to do for everyone else first and put yourself on the back burner. And nothing could be further from the truth. You need to look after you first, and that is not selfish. But women and people in general have been conditioned to believe that putting ourselves first is selfish. And it's not. It's exactly the opposite, because when you do that, when you put yourself first, when you pour into yourself first, that enables you to give to the people around you who need you from a much better place. And you're able to give more of yourself when you pour into you first. So putting yourself first is not selfish
Absolutely.
at all.
I need to add one more thing there.
Yeah, sure.
I'm on the floor with my grandchildren, and I'm happy that I can still get down and get back up. That's what I do.
There you go. Yeah, exactly. 100%. What is one mindfulness or mental wellness practice that has changed your life?
There's a meditation and a vagal nerve stimulation that I do, right? And when you do that, some people say vagal, but when you do this practice, or I do this practice, it causes me to release, because oftentimes we're walking like this with our head up like this, because we don't even realize that we're carrying things, right? And so it helps me to relax, and it helps me to, it releases automatically. And it's a very simple practice. And that is one of the things that really helps me to release.
Now, here's the other side of that coin with the meditation thing. I hear so often people say, I can't meditate. My mind's too busy. All these thoughts come in. And I think it's important to know, when it comes to meditation, at least what I've learned in my journey and through the people I've spoken to, you don't have to quiet your mind completely. Let the thoughts come in, let them pass through. It's okay. That doesn't mean you can't meditate. You can. You just got to be aware, let the thoughts pass through, and continue on that path of solace and meditation.
That's a great point, because when I first started, I thought I was just never going to get it, because I'm a very energetic person. And so having to try to slow my brain down, it was like Grand Central Station running through there. But the more you practice, the more you go. And I love water. And so I think about water. I think about things that soothe me. And then I was able to bring it down. Now, has it went totally I'm chasing thoughts all over the place, but it's better.
But it's just like anything else, though, Liz. You have to practice something to get good at it. You have to put in the time,
you do.
right?
Absolutely,
simple.
you do.
But it is good for you. Meditation is amazing.
It is. Yes.
What is one common belief about health and wellness that you wish people would let go of?
So I have some traditional doctors that I'm very close with. So they know that I support their work. But I have to say this in all honesty, is that people learn that they are responsible for their own health, and that you do have the power and it's okay to respectfully question a line of care, or it's okay to do that, because you have to be comfortable when you go home with yourself and with what it is that you need to do. So that's just one of the things I think people get so afraid of sometimes going to the doctors, that they don't take care of themselves. So we would just kind of understand that we are empowered. This is our gift. This is our body. This is our mental health. This is ours. And I think oftentimes we relinquish that power because we feel like somebody else knows more. And respectfully, it's just good to be in partnership with your doctors.
For sure. I mean, nobody knows your body better than you.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
Today, of course, we constantly hear the words, I don't want to say buzzwords because they are important words, but self-care, self-love, it gets thrown around a lot. Now, I would love to know, what do you think people misunderstand the most about self-care?
I think one of the things that we think about when we talk about self-care, I know maybe men and women, but I'll say for women, that going to get our nails done, or that is a part of self-care, but that's not the total self-care. Self-care is internally. We have to take care of ourselves. And we talked a little bit about that before, about removing ourselves from toxic people, places, or things. Because oftentimes the people that you are surrounding yourself with, what are they telling you about yourself? So that's a part of self-care, is taking care of your mental and your physical. So I love going to get my nails done and pedicures and all that, massages and all. Those are great. But you got to take care of, protect your space, and you have the power to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. Everything starts from within, right? We are the foundation for everything. So taking care of our inner selves is where it starts for sure. Now, what role does spirituality play in well-being? And do you believe that everyone has a personal path to healing?
Absolutely. A personal path to healing. I believe that recovery, and I've seen it time and time again, is as individual as your fingerprint. And oftentimes we we look at other people. We look at other people like I think sometimes for our answers and for our validation. And so it's within us. That's, yes, everybody, just as unique as your fingerprint, your pathway to recovery, healing, and wholeness is in that as well. And can you repeat that first question again?
Yeah, what role does spirituality play in well-being?
I think it's everything, to be honest. I think it's everything. And I respect everybody's belief, but for me, that's what made me here today, being able to walk, function, being able to pull all those pieces together and not be restrained to a wheelchair is what I was told that was going to be my lot in life. But my faith in me saying, that's not what God told me. That's not what he showed me. And that by me holding on to that, that is what helped me to every year. They say you plateaued. That's it. What happened? The next year, better. Wait, no, you plateaued. That's it. Nope, that's not my destiny. That's not what I was told. And so spirituality, I think, plays a huge role in recovery. We can't be our own frame of reference for everything.
That's right. I love that you shared that, because thinking back to what the doctors told you when you went in with your injuries, this is it. So many people would have just laid down and said, okay, there's nothing else I can do. And again, having people like yourself on the podcast to share that, no, it doesn't have to be that. It's about standing up for yourself, using your voice with your doctors. These doctors have been, it's been ingrained in us that they have all the answers, that they know what's best for us. They don't. Sure, we need Western medicine. There is no doubt about it. Absolutely we do. But I think we need to get to a place where Western and Eastern modalities work together. And I know that we're seeing some of that happen, but people need to know that there are other options. I cannot say this enough, because so many people would have just accepted, if they were in your position, okay, I guess I'm confined to a wheelchair. I got to have this knee surgery and I'm going to be in a wheelchair for the rest of my life. And I think that's horrible, because there are so many other options. You are living proof that, no, this is not my lot in life.
Absolutely. And I do want to impress upon that there are traditional doctors, naturopathic doctors that are coming together for integrative medicine and empowering us to be a part. Because one of the things that when I went through, like I said, the accident, it was horrific in all forms of fashion, right? But one of the things was going through therapy, and I am a proponent for therapy, going through and talking through it and what have you. However, there are being empowered, and I'm just grateful that it was in me and in my spirit to empower myself with my voice. But I think part of that, or two different directions with that, part of that was right before my accident, we had 10 family members that passed away back to back to back to back. And what I saw was that all of them were on medication. And I was the person that heard the side effects. And the side effects scared me more than the medications they want to put me on. Yeah. And then as I was going through the 2 years of dating my doctors and I tried the medication, my body rejected it. And mind and body is so connected that because I was so afraid of it, my body just kept rejecting it. And they thought I was being rebellious, but I'm saying, help me. I don't know. I don't have the answer, but I know this is not the answer. I don't want to sit drooling and not be able to think because of this. So there has to be a better answer. And because of my faith and I'm praying for the answer, God showed it to me and showed me what I could do. And as we talk about that soothing salve, I went to class. When I was on my way to class, my legs, my calves were as big as my thighs because they stayed swollen. Wow. I had to really hold on to almost crawl up the stairs to get to class. And as I got to class, I learned how to make the salve. But I said, wait a minute, I need something for circulation. I need something for inflammation. I need something to get my blood to the surface. So as I started studying and adding, before I knew it, I had 31 different herbs in that salve. It's expensive, but it works. And
there you go. You can't put a price on that, though. That's your health you're talking about.
So that's where that came about. So when you seek those answers and you open your mind, it will come to you. It has to be greater than us, right? When you say spiritual, it has
for
to
sure.
Be. I wasn't born with those answers.
No, absolutely. I love that. Now, if someone feels completely lost in their wellness journey, what's the very first step they should take, in your opinion?
Wow. I want to go in answering this. I want to go back to the part about having the proper care around you. Therapy, and I say find the therapist that works for you. I went through 5 of them and they didn't work for me because I'm not a person that you can dictate to. I need to be a part of my care. So until I went into coaching and started having coaches around me that understood, and some I moved away from because they didn't have either, but I would say get into the proper care. And the proper care is what is, again, that individual journey. Proper care, meaning the people around you that speak life into you, your coaches that understand, trauma-informed coaches. And that's why my big message is to become trauma-informed, trauma-aware, because oftentimes people in care re-traumatize us because they're not trauma-informed. And so we have to be trauma-informed so that we can know if this is a proper, just like a marriage. Is this the proper person that's going to help me and I'm going to help them to reach their goals and their purpose in life? Or is it somebody that's pulling me back or holding me back? Same thing with your care providers.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that, Liz. How do you help people shift from a mindset of fixing their bodies to truly appreciating and honoring them?
Oh, my goodness. So now you're digging deep and personal.
I am. Let's go.
Personal. So I was a kid. I came from a dysfunctional family, right? And I understand the traumas now, where they came from. But I came from a dysfunctional family. I came from abuse from the womb, okay? And I write about it in my book, Pathway to Trauma Recovery, and other books. But when you suffered that kind of trauma, so I'm getting ready to demonstrate something for you too here. Okay, coming from that dysfunction, I grew up thinking I was the ugly duckling, right? No matter, because I heard it constantly from family members. I heard about my weight because I was always a hefty girl. So coming from abuse in the womb, from domestic violence, my mom suffered domestic violence while in the womb, and then some other things that happened, and we won't get all the way into that. But some of the things that happened growing up, I didn't have high self-esteem, and I went all the way around the mulberry bush. So bring me back to your question, so I won't go going down this rabbit hole. 'Cause it's huge.
How do you help people shift from a mindset of fixing their bodies to truly appreciating and honoring?
Right, that's where I came back to this one. I just learned how to appreciate myself by telling myself all of the beautiful things and not the beautiful things about myself, instead of fixating on the things that are imperfect. We all are imperfect. So I started perfectly imperfect. So I started being grateful for arms. Wasn't all happy about the size of my arms, but as I started rewiring myself to say, I have arms, I can move. There are people that are less fortunate that don't have their arms. There are people that don't have either arm. So just start self-talk. It's just beautiful. This is a funny one, but okay, I'm a little bit knock-kneed, okay? That was an issue too, right? So I think it was just like the worst thing. I was like, oh my God, I walk, it looks like a K, right? Oh my goodness, I'm telling you all, I'm authentic about stuff, right? But when you get in recovery, you can be okay with those imperfections. And I had somebody to tell me, oh my God, that just gives you an extra curve. You look gorgeous. I love it. All this time, I'm thinking that, you know what I'm saying? So I tell people, start appreciating the things about yourself, the things, and fixate on the beautiful things about yourself. And then that other part, you'll start to rewire that. So I don't have an issue with it anymore.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. What is your take on the societal pressure for women to look a certain way in the name of wellness?
I say, know what wellness really is, because you can be thin and still unhealthy. You can have a little bit, be a bulkier woman or man and be healthy because you're just built thick. I say, forget about the airbrushing and just learn to accept yourself, because I look at some of the most beautiful people in the world that society says beautiful. If we were walking in their shoes, we have no idea what their life and their journey is. So focus on like yourself. This is the only person that you have complete control over. Appreciate and love yourself.
Beautiful advice. Thank you, Liz. If someone is struggling with body shame, what is one powerful practice they can start today to change their relationship with themselves?
I think, again, learning to love yourself and appreciate all of the beauty that's within yourself. Like when I can appreciate my beauty, then I can appreciate my sister's beauty without being jealous or envious of hers. So focus on the beauty that's within yourself and focus on the beauty that you bring. You can find something beautiful about everybody.
Yeah, for sure. for sure. What is a belief that you used to hold about body image or health that you have completely unlearned?
Beauty is truly in the eye of the beholder. I just have to go back to that self-talk when I was younger, and I would hear the tapes about men like smaller women, but I have some men in my family that adore heavier women so it just, again, is that paradigm shift. Just the paradigm shift of what beauty really is, and don't let magazines or TV or any of those things dictate what beauty is to you.
It's hard though. I mean, especially for women, because they are given this perceived image of what beauty looks like. And it's completely false. It's as you mentioned, it's airbrushed. These magazine covers, women don't normally look like that. That's not possible to achieve that look without airbrushing and things like that. So I think, it does start here with us, with self-love. But I think when it comes to our children, instilling these values that they are perfectly imperfect, they are perfect the way they are from a very young age, teaching them about loving themselves, it has to start from a young age, because if we keep ingraining that into our children's minds growing up, they'll not know any different. They'll just think, okay, I'm beautiful the way I am. It's okay.
Absolutely. Those tapes are very important. I did not allow people to, because I was talked about as a child, I was picked on as being a heavier girl. Until last year, July was our 40th anniversary, our 40th year class reunion. Now, all the time in high school and going through, I always thought, again, I was the ugly girl, really. And I stayed quiet to myself, trying to be invisible. Now, when I was invited to go to our 40-year class reunion, I almost didn't go because I said they didn't like me and all of these negative things that, But when I got there, it was rewired because it was a whole different paradigm. When I got there, they even talked about what happened in high school. In high school, it was so quiet. That's why people didn't talk to me. It wasn't because I was ugly, but I had those tapes in my head. So what you said about the children, pour into my grandchildren, into any children, I pour into them the beauty of who they are and what I see their talent being. You could see a child beating on drums or something and know that they have a lot of rhythm to themselves. Encourage that, cultivate that. And so I say, be very careful what you say to our children.
Yeah, I think we have to be very careful the way we speak to ourselves too. It's very important. Self-talk, as you've mentioned throughout this, self-talk is so important. I think when we talk shitty to ourselves, to be able to, again, it takes work, it takes practice, but to be able to step back and look at it and say, would I talk to my best friend like that? Would I talk to my mom like that? Would I talk to people that I care about in that manner? No, you probably wouldn't. So why are we doing it to ourselves?
Exactly. In who you have around you. We have people tell us negative things about us that's around us, and then we start to believe that. Yeah. So we are to have our boundaries, right? And setting those boundaries is extremely important.
If a person is told something enough times, they start to believe it. So that can also work in the reverse in terms of positive reinforcement. Absolutely. So keep telling those people in our lives how beautiful they are, how much you appreciate them. And especially, again, back to the kids, you are perfect the way you are. You're beautiful the way you are. Love yourself, and stressing the importance of that is key. Absolutely. For sure.
1,000%.
What is the hardest truth that you think people need to hear about why they haven't achieved the wellness they desire?
The hardest thing, I think we do a lot of denying. And I go back to the trauma piece, but we deny and we push stuff down instead of dealing with it and saying, if I want to achieve a certain wellness or a certain level, I can't eat chips every day. If I want to be more, if I want to work on my mental health or my self-esteem or whatever it is that we want to work on, whatever that goal is, we can't bury it and say, I'm going to take care of it tomorrow or procrastinate on it. It's something that we must put in as a priority. And then we take the small steps. We eat an elephant one bite at a time, the small steps, right? I don't eat meat, but I didn't stop just eating meat all of a sudden. It was pork and then beef, then chicken. It was a little bit at a time. I gave myself the grace to slip up. If I slip up, and I did it until I accomplished the goal that I wanted to accomplish. And so I think that's it. Just baby steps, taking baby steps towards the goals that we have set and not burying them. Because another thing with trauma is progressive. So when we swallow it, it doesn't go away. It's going to get worse. And the same thing with those chips. They're going to add up. And we're going to have a minute on your lips, a lifetime on your hips. So we have to face these truths.
For sure, for sure. If you could leave every person listening with one empowering wellness truth, what would it be?
You have the power. You are empowered. You are beautifully made. So you absolutely have the power. You have the power to create the life that you want.
Thank you for sharing that. Now, as I mentioned, Liz, off the top, you are the CEO and founder of Oasis Wellness Centers. Can you tell us about all the things Oasis Wellness Centers, when you founded, what was the inspiration behind it, all the things?
Ooh, all the things. How many days you got? I am a creator, right? I'm very creative, and I am inspired by some of our great speakers that tell us that winners never quit, quitters never win. And I started to create out of my need. What is it that I needed? Founded Oasis Wellness Centers in 2015. And again, it came out of my need to understand more about how to pull this whole body back together. How do I become whole? And I created the Get Trauma Informed podcast to teach awareness, because I knew a lot of people didn't understand trauma. People run away from it and they hide it and all of that. But if it affects all of us, then the world is really my audience for it, right? So in Oasis Wellness Centers, it's an academy. We have a lot of resources available. We're in a 12-week series on trauma recovery. It's a free course I like to pour into the world. So it's a free course. Okay. They're just responsible for their workbooks and their books, and we're having a great success with that course. People are starting to become more aware, and more people that we have aware, the better world that we will have. We have more empathy for somebody, for other people. The salve, the books. I do have the latest book, which is Pathway to Trauma Recovery. All of my books. I'm actually the lead author on that book. A couple of the other books there. All of it is all designed around wellness and helping us to go from where we are and just giving ourselves grace and mercy to go to the next step, so that we can live our life full out and on purpose and with an intended purpose as well. So it's just about us having a better life and being able to discover that person that's on the inside, because you might meet that person and really like them. I said, hey, that's a cool girl.
I will put all the links to the wellness centers, the 12-week course, your books, all of that stuff in the show notes. So thank you for sharing that. Yeah. I would love for you to share a little bit more. You mentioned the book. Share a little bit more about the book.
Right. So,
and what was that journey like for you, sharing with the world your story, your journey?
That's one of the things too. When I talk about creating the things, I birthed Ink of Legacy, which helps people to get their stories up and out, because it's a part of healing, right? So in the Pathway to Trauma Recovery, in the book, we have 13 different authors all over the world that came out and told their trauma recovery, not just the recovery, but the story of their trauma, and then the recovery and how they did that. And the purpose of that is that you may not hear it in my voice, right? You may not be able to relate in my voice, but you can relate to one of the other authors in the book. You can relate to their story. And then if they did it, it gives you hope, and it shows you that it's possible. And sometimes just like with that accident, it was like the most devastating thing that could happen. But out of that, it birthed a whole new world, and it pulled out my purpose. So that's one of the, and that's one of the things that you'll find when you go to the site, the books, the salve. So I say, what pains you? Let's work on it. Let's recover it. And I like recovery versus healing, but recovery means that we're recovering everything, that trauma, that the pain stole from us. We're recovering it, and we're pulling out that whole person. We can't do it if we swallow the trauma. It has to come up and out. And that's what we teach you to do, bring it up and out.
Beautiful. What do you think, Liz, is your unique skill set or superpower that's helped you become successful?
I think my superpower is, truly, I leaned into my faith, and a person was birthed that I couldn't even recognize myself. So I think my superpower is really having empathy for other people and being able to bring out that they may be afraid of pulling out, but I can sit with someone a few minutes and see what that amazing thing is about them. And then I can encourage them and inspire them. So when you come through our recovery courses, it's going to be not like anything else, because it's really about you, right? It's all about you and how to pull it up and out within you.
Love it. So speaking of success, what does that word mean to you? How do you define success?
To me, success is walking in your purpose. And go back to pulling all those pieces together, mind, body, spirit, and soul, pulling those pieces together. And when you become that whole person, you get up every day with this glow about yourself, wanting to do more, wanting to give more. You don't get out of bed in the morning like, oh my God, the day has started again. You get out with this excitement.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. What would you say then is one of the most important things you've learned in your life? And what was your life like before you learned it? And what was your life like after learning it?
Goodness. Before I learned it, there was a lot of fear. There was a lot of anxiety. There was a lot of depression. My goodness. Before. That's the before. The after is the glow now. Really, when you walk in your purpose and you meet your purpose. I never knew my person. I never met her before. Because it's like we'll be living life just behind this glass wall, right? And everything out there is not, it's not real. It doesn't feel real. And you're making decisions off of that skewed perspective. But when you go through recovery and you really pull those pieces together and you're no longer afraid to be without your makeup and without all of these things, and when you get to that point, life is so different. Now, I'm not fooling and saying life is just easy, because one of my mentors, he talked about life. We think that life is going to get easier. Not that it get easier. We get better at getting up quicker. That's one of my mentors. And I'm going to shout out Ron Austin, because I can't say where that came from. And that's another thing too. And I do have some powerful mentors that are in my corner, and I could not have done that without them. People around you that believe in you until you can believe in yourself. And this is something I do. I live with intention. I prayed and prayed before I even got into the recovery part, that I wanted people around me that were good people, that had integrity, that didn't mind pouring into me. And then I started putting these people into my life. When I came up with the salve, and I said, I want to meet a pro athlete. Now, I didn't know anybody in the pro athlete world. I want to meet a pro athlete, because I wanted to be like the movie with Common and Queen Latifah, where she started servicing all the people in the NFL, and that was her all of a sudden. And that's what I wanted. As I started walking through that, I was introduced to Marcus Ogden, who became one of my coaches. And this is what I mean about living life with intention. I asked for this, I believed it, and then I started walking in it. And all of these things started to happen because I believed. I couldn't hear when the doctor said, oh, this is going to be your lot. Who are they talking to? But they can't be talking to me, because I'm not going to let that drop in my spirit. And I wanted to get my books out. So I had my book on the shelf. I read my book in 1985. I don't want to date myself. But I had it sitting on the shelf, and I had that prayer. And as I walked through it, I met Coach Michael Mathews, who was a publisher. And I got my first book out. It's SMOOTHIE TIME. Got that book out. I was like, oh my goodness, now I'm a published author. So this is like walking through life with intention and with purpose, and not feeding into the negativity. The negativity I have, what are those walls up, the avatars, or that wall up, the shield in the Marvel movies? Shields up, right? That's Star Trek. Shields up. Any negativity has to go that way. So if you lean into the positive and you keep moving, no matter what, keep moving, keep getting up.
I love it. Thank you for sharing that. What does the word empowerment mean to you, Liz?
Empowerment means really knowing that you have the ability. And you say ability for what? Finish the sentence.
I love that. You have the ability to fill in the blank.
That empowers you right there.
Yeah, absolutely. I love it. Okay, we're going to jump into a little rapid fire section. So the next grouping of questions just be 1, 2, 3, 4 word answer type thing.
Okay.
How would you describe yourself in one word?
In one word, empowered.
If you could be remembered for one thing, what would it be?
My faith.
If you could teach the world one thing, what would it be?
Trust God.
What is one thing you love about yourself that is not related to your physical appearance?
One thing that I love about myself is that I finally met her, and I kind of like her.
That's beautiful. What is one thing you want but cannot buy with money?
Okay. Don't put my number out there, but I want a good husband, okay? I'm not bitter from divorce. I want a good husband. How about that?
I love it. And that concludes our rapid fire section. Now back to our regularly scheduled program. I created a bonus question that I did not send you ahead of time. If you could take one feeling or one belief and bottle it up and give it to people, what would it be?
One feeling or one belief. I just think love is the answer. Love is the key.
Yes. Love is the highest vibration on the planet. We need more of that. Now more than ever, I think. What is one lesson that your career has taught you that you think everybody should learn at some point in their life?
There is power in the pivot. Because sometimes, and I learned this from another one of my coaches, Randy Otterbridge. He's an amazing coach. And this is the thing. Iron sharpens iron. And if you don't allow yourself to be coached, you're going to stay stuck. And he taught me something. He taught me to move my ladder. Because I'm a cleric personality. And so I will climb a wall until the wall is no longer there and still try to find more wall. He said, he had me to pivot. And it was a gut shot at the way he gave it to me. When I learned to pivot, my business changed. And it elevated. So power in the pivot.
Okay. If you could step into my shoes, what question would you have asked yourself that I didn't ask you?
I wrote it down. And we got excited about this conversation. And one question that he didn't ask me, I think, and you may have asked me in a roundabout way, but what is it that you talked about inspiring, but what would I want to leave everybody with today if it was something I wanted to leave them with?
Legacy. Okay, go ahead.
Trust God, love hard, live every moment, and have fun.
Beautiful. We're only here for a short time, so you might as well have fun while you're here.
Absolutely. I love that what you said about legacy, too. That's very important.
For sure. Especially having 10 grandkids.
My children are still young. They're still, I said, I'm having grandbabies like chiclets. They're just everywhere. I love them.
If you could have any 3 people in the world sitting, alive or dead, sitting at the dinner table with you, who would those 3 people be and why?
All right. Put your seatbelt on for this one. Napoleon Hill. Because he teaches the mindset of Think and Grow Rich. And I still review that book constantly because that's what it is. Think to grow rich. I mean, rich in everything, not just money, right?
Yes.
And I'm going to go into Martin Luther King because he had a dream and nothing was going to stop him. And I think that's like everything. He had a dream and he stood for it, flat-footed for it. And Oprah Winfrey. And I say Oprah Winfrey because she didn't let people tell her that she was ugly or that she wasn't going to make it because she didn't fit the status quo, like what you said before about society saying what's beautiful. She didn't stop. She kept on building. She kept building. And I don't know all of the nuances of it, but those are the values that I hold dear. And that's why I picked those 3 people.
Beautiful. If you had the opportunity to sit down and have a 1-hour conversation with one woman, any woman in the world, alive or dead, who would it be and why?
It would be Lisa Nichols. She taught me something really powerful. In Napoleon Hill's book, he talked about having your conference table of people around. And she taught me to give out of my saucer and not out of my cup because I kept depleting myself in my cup. I kept depleting it and wondering, why am I left here? No, the phone's not ringing anymore, right? Because I can't give anything in this moment, right? But then I fill my cup back up, get back up, dig out of the quicksand, and now my cup is now full, and I'm giving out of the cup again. And I kept doing that until I heard her say that we must give, we must fill our cup, so our cup is running over. That means we must be abundant. We must do that first, and then we have the overflow to give out of our saucer. So I would love to pick her brain as to how many times. I think she went to the conferences about 40 times to learn how to do her initial public offering. Like, oh, look at that. That's what I do. I get up every morning with that drive. So I would definitely sit down and, I would cook her a full course meal. I was like,
Lisa Nichols is phenomenal. She is so inspiring. Absolutely amazing, that woman. I love her. Absolutely. She's phenomenal. If you could go back and give your younger self one piece of advice, what would that piece of advice be?
Love yourself. Learn to love yourself. Learn to appreciate all things about yourself. Unapologetically as well.
Powerful. Lastly, Liz, if you were to deliver your last 30-second speech to the world, your tribe, your people, your corner of the world, what would that last 30 seconds sound like? What words of wisdom would you impart?
I think I said it earlier, though, that I stick by that. Trust God, love hard, live each moment, and have fun. I mean, really live each moment.
Beautiful. Wise words and beautiful way to end the interview. Liz, thank you so much for taking and making the time to be here with me today, for sharing in your journey and in the beautiful light you put out into the world through all the work you do. You are so inspiring. I am grateful to have you as a member of the Empowerography community and grateful to call you a friend. Thank you for sharing your wisdom. It has been such a pleasure speaking with you.
I appreciate you too. And I just want to say thank you for creating a safe space for women to be authentically themselves, unapologetically themselves. So I thank you and I appreciate you 1,000 times over.
Thank you. I received that. Liz, could you share with the listeners where they can connect with you if they want to learn more about you, they want to work with you? Of course, we'll put it in the show notes, but I'd love for you to share where they can connect with you.
The website is Oasis Wellness Centers.com. And I do have a direct number to our office. It's 616-320-0703. And I think, yes.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you. Once again, my name is Brad Walsh, host of your Empowerography podcast. Today, my guest has been Liz Blanding. She is a wellness coach, the CEO and founder of Oasis Wellness Centers, the founder of Soothing Salve, and an author. Liz, thank you once again so much for being here with me today. It was an absolute pleasure and an honor. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day.
Bye for now.
Thank you very much for listening to this podcast. If you haven't yet, please be sure to subscribe, rate, review, and share with all your friends. You can find me at visuphoria.ca, follow me on Instagram at Empowerography Podcast, and on Facebook at Empowerography. Please join me next time for another inspirational story from yet another amazing woman.